What's up?
I'm up.
Not for long. Or, yes, for long.
Well, guys, we have some good news, and that's it. And it is that the lockdown is over. Oh, also that, yeah, we got our haircuts. I must say that M's results are far better, but then again, his fluffiness was way more extreme. In any case, the lockdown is ending here. So all of you in the US who are constantly wondering whether to end the lockdown, now you have your very own European landlocked guinea pig.
Yeah, two guinea pigs.
2 guinea pigs.
Yeah.
I'm more of a pig, he's more of a guinea. So
He's more of a gimmick. So the lockdown is over, but not all protective measures have been lifted. Because this corona thing is probably going to be with us for another... It's going to be an issue for another, year or something.
Yeah.
So...
unless there's a second wave.
So people were so repressed here in Serbia that 2 days, maybe even 1 day after the curfew was lifted and all of that, we are having protests everywhere and things are happening.
Yeah.
So apologies for not publishing a video earlier, but it has been pretty challenging to actually get together and do it. Even though we did manage to play a game together. But, it was an online game. It's fine. It included other people and it involved other people.
Yeah, but we're content creators. It is our job to create content and not to play video games. You don't go to your boss, assuming you have one, which you don't, and say, well, yeah, I didn't get much work done, but I did get to play games. And he's like...
I have sort of a boss, but not a boss whom I have to, explain what I was doing or something like that. Yeah.
Well, you did to me. Okay. Okay.
Look, if you've declined to record for reasons that are different than mine.
I declined to record.
Yeah.
Oh, video games. Okay, fine. Oh, okay. Oh, you were calling me out. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, anyways, the short summary between the last video and this one. Curfew, depression. I sneaked into a liturgy where B was. That was underwhelming.
We were under special circumstances.
Yeah, and that's about it.
We had an iconostasis. You wanted the iconostasis. I gave you one. What more can you want?
I don't know, man. My zealot blood demanded more.
more blood.
Yeah. It was different. But anyways, we're gonna start today with a very casual topic.
I need casual topics.
Yeah, everybody
End
needs
of
casual
sentence.
topics right now. Really, everybody, I think, needs casual
Yeah.
topics. So we are not going to be discussing hard. Maybe, just saying, maybe. But today we're going to talk about. We'll try to recommend some online content in terms of
Mm-hmm.
TV shows or movies that we watched recently. That people might enjoy. I actually don't remember stuff that well, so I had to. I downloaded my Netflix watch history, and it's pretty big. So I'll try to skim through it.
A nice flex there. Okay.
No, I would actually. Actually, consider it quite the opposite. It means I've spent a lot of time watching Netflix.
Okay.
To be fair, a lot of things I watch on Netflix, I watched while I was working, which
So you either weren't working or you didn't watch.
No, actually, Netflix, as I guess any other video streaming platform, is full of mediocre content, which
You don't say.
which I can totally listen to it more than watch it, and I would do that while working and also while driving.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's watching shows while he drives people.
Yeah.
This comes from a guy who kills the mosquitoes with a handheld flamethrower.
Just to be clear, very clear, I watch. It's not like I'm really watching. I'm more like listening, and I'm looking at it with peripheral vision on a smartphone, on my dashboard, so I'm not actually losing any.
Well, better that than driving.
Yeah. So yeah, I was watching Netflix between Belgrade and Čačak. That's the new thing. I wasn't driving from Belgrade to Čačak.
Yeah,
Čačak is a town in Serbia, if you're wondering. People.
You asked me why aren't you publishing any more Bible illustrated videos?
Yeah, that's disappointing. Like, if as a fan, I have to raise my concerns with you.
And I told you it is a big video. That is why it's taking sweet time, and I'm also watching 2 movies per day.
No, really, I don't think anybody can blame anybody for not being productive during this pandemic thing, especially because of the curfew and the fact that you need to work from home. For you, it might be an upgrade. For me, it's kind of a downgrade. But at the end of the day, when I analyze the productivity of my team, for example, and starting with myself, I would never be in a position to like tell somebody like, no, like no. At best, and I'm being honest, at the best, I'm at a fourth of maybe some days it's a third of my productivity. Like seriously, it's been like.
Some days are really good for me. Like today was, but some days it's like, okay, one more movie, and then I'll wash my teeth. It's fun. On to the shows.
Yeah, so sounds like me delaying the evening prayer.
I'll do it tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So let's do it like this. For example, you say one and I say one. Huh?
Okay. That's fine. So we're doing shows and movies.
Yeah, but I'm mostly gonna talk about shows because I rarely actually watch movies. I like to binge through.
I like shows, but they are. You have to dedicate a lot of time for them. I mean, technically, when you watch a movie per day, it's the same thing. But, at least I can finish a movie and be over it and not be like Parks and Rec, where I'm really trying to finish the last season and a half, but I'm failing so hard.
Tell me something. What's your genre? Yeah. Like, what's your go-to genre? Well, of course, my go-to genre is religious, Christian tales.
Actually, I think that out of Christian movies, okay. Now,
what's Christian movies? I don't think I've ever watched a Christian movie.
You did, also.
Well, okay, excluding Russian.
Okay.
And I watched 2, maybe 3 when I think of it.
Okay, let me start. Okay, I will have to open a notepad here.
That's not a Christian movie. That's just a movie.
Which one?
Like Island. That's a why is
that's
that
a Christian movie?
But why is it a Christian movie?
It deals with Christian themes. It deals with a monk on an island. It deals with Christian themes.
Maybe
it's a Christian movie.
Maybe some exorcism and all that. Don't you have movies like that you can't really call Christian?
Well, there's the Crucifixion, which we still have to tear apart, but you haven't watched it, even though I was sure that you did watch it.
Yeah, I guess you can call that like is Passion of Christ Christian movie.
Okay, this is literally like asking is Pope Catholic.
Okay. Is he?
There are some trad Catholics who would agree that he's not really.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I would say that Passion of Christ is a Christian movie. Because it is sort on the hinges of Christian themes.
Let's move on. You're opening your notepad.
Okay. The movie that I watched is called Beyond the Hills. It's a Romanian film.
Beyond
I think it was
the Hills.
Beyond the Hills.
Beyond
Hills, the Beyond.
Okay, and
okay, so it deals with a real life case in Romania about a nun who died soon after an exorcism was performed.
Yeah, you definitely watched those movies. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, now I know.
Yeah, and there are actually two films based on this event. Bad American movie, which is a horror movie, which I will make a video on the main channel because it is so juicy that I can't.
Main channel.
Bible Illustrated.
On the main channel.
Main channel. I have many channels. I have many faces, many masks.
Oh, okay.
Bible Illustrated is older, bigger, watched. More watched than this. So sorry, unless we top those numbers.
No, because
your turn.
It literally sounded like this was a spin-off from Bible Illustrated.
No, it more sounded like my third limousine. My second country estate.
Terrible. I wish I never asked you.
Too late for that.
It's done now.
You know, it would be fun if you got someone more popular, because that is practically my only function here, to draw my audience here. So, hello, the new episode of Church Miles Chronicles, and instead of B, we have Lily Pons. And the whole audience is like...
or one of our little local popular YouTubers with 1.6 million or something subscribers, which is ridiculous, but because why not?
Yeah. Okay, back to the Beyond the Hills. So, in the real life event, nun died after an exorcism, and there are some conflicting reports why she died. The primary one was that she was extremely exhausted during these exorcism sessions, and she died en route to hospital. And the other report, which sort of gained traction and was proven to be correct, is that the paramedics gave her too much adrenaline while she was in the ambulance vehicle, and that stopped her heart. That aside, there are two movies. One is a horror movie, which is hilariously bad, and the other is Beyond the Hills, which I really like because it is the movie that is filled to the brim with Orthodox atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You have this novice nun, and a friend of hers visits her in the monastery, and it is clear that the two of them sort of had some romantic involvement. And that friend of hers is sort of trying to convince her to leave the monastery, while the novice is, no, but I have my family here, and so on. And as time passes by, the visitor gets more and more unhinged and problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And the monastery is sort of forced to take her in because the hospital can't take her because of some psychological issues, because they're renovating the wing or something, and so on. And the issues get so bad that in desperation, the priest and the nuns attempt an exorcism. It goes bad, and so on. But it is a beautiful drama movie, and it is so orthodox, so to speak, because the whole atmosphere is very... There is this scene where the priest and the nuns are eating in the monastery refectory. it is like every monastery refectory I was ever to. Like every dining hall of a monastery, those things
so
are discussed.
It's authentic. That's the movie.
No, if I didn't know, I thought it was like a candid camera of a genuine monastery. It was so real.
Nice.
You know? And I asked a Romanian friend of mine, "What do you think of the movie?" "Oh, I haven't watched it. They probably say that Orthodox are backwards." And no, it's really good. Like you sort of feel for all the characters. You feel for the novice. You feel for the nuns. You feel for the priest. You feel for the visitor. Everybody's a sort of a victim there. It's a tragedy, and they like that the exorcism was dealt as a drama, not as a horror thing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't witnessed exorcisms personally, but what impressions I got when I got them described. It's not like, oh, they're hovering in air or something like that, even though there might be some paranormal phenomena or something.
But there would be screaming.
Yeah, and there will be
cursing.
Cursing, yeah, but in the end, you really feel sorry for the person who's both undergoing that and their caretakers. If there's no deliverance, those people are still going to face all sorts of issues as time goes by, and so on. It's a terrific movie. It's a bit long, but I highly suggest everybody to see it.
Two things.
Yes.
One, I didn't know you were going to be so passionate about recommending stuff, because I was just going to go through my history and say this is crap or this is good. But
okay.
So you kind of set the bar too high for me. But anyways,
this is just a movie that. Listen, I have been watching a lot of horror movies recently, and this one really stood out. I mean, it's not a horror movie. Like, you can watch this in the, middle of the night and go to bed easily. Like, I'm a scaredy cat. So,
where did you find this movie?
As I said, I watched horror movies, and I watched The Crucifixion, which is a horror movie based on the same event, and it's atrocious. And I saw that there was a movie that's based on the same event, and okay, let's because if there are multiple versions of something, I generally like to watch them all. For example, there's that movie based on the book Rebecca. I think I watched 5 versions of the movie.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's really interesting, different interpretations and so on. So I wanted to see different approaches, and man, these two movies have literally nothing in common except Romania and at least as the Beyond the Hill is concerned, maybe a demon.
Yeah, the 10% of the exorcism.
Yeah,
it's funny. It says here that its total cumulative worldwide gross income was something over $650,000. Which is a shame. It's a really good movie, Yeah. Obviously, movies with non-mainstream,
audiences.
Yeah, it's not built to make money. I don't know. I mean, it's maybe the intention was, but it definitely,
So, well, if they wanted to go to the money-making route, I suppose that they could have made it a horror movie. But
yes, since we are on the topic of Christian movies, and this is obviously, since it's from Romania, portraying an Orthodox monastery, obviously it's an Orthodox Christian movie in a way, right?
Yeah.
The one that we mentioned, Ostrov, which means island in Russian. In Serbian it's Ostrovo, so it's pretty similar. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but these guys found a way to, and they got a top-notch actor to do it. They found a way to show how it would look like to live in a monastery with a saint, with a living, breathing saint, and somehow they did it. The entire movie has a perfect vibe. And you immediately start connecting this with the lives of saints that you've read. It's just so profound, and the backstory is so profound. I'm getting goosebumps even just by thinking of it, you know. And it's actually also a longer movie, and the happenings are slow, but it flies by. It flies by because it's absolutely imbued with real Christian holiness. It's ridiculous. So if you haven't watched it, especially if you're a Christian, it is a must do. By the way, if anybody knows, like, where can I find Russian movies with English subtitles? You know, decently made. Please share, because I'm always having trouble finding. Like, when I find a decent Russian movie, I'm like thrilled, because that's not something that I usually. It's not on Netflix. It's not on HBO. And it's not on Amazon Prime. Maybe some, but very rarely. And Russians have a huge movie production statewide. So, but anyways, recently I've been. I'm not going to be recommending Christian movies. It is what it is. I'm just going to tell you what I've been watching recently, like something that I've been following for some time now. It's a show called Better Call Saul. It's it's a spin-off, I'd say, of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is a show that a lot of people. It's an acclaimed show. A lot of people said nice things about it, but honestly, from my perspective and a lot of people's perspective as well, it's actually an average show. It has a decent story, great acting, but it's an average show actually.
Can you chime in, because
Absolutely.
I haven't watched Better Call Saul, but I did watch
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah. By the way, guys, a lot of these will contain spoilers. You know, so just...
I'll try to go without.
Okay, I will try to. Okay. I had an issue with Breaking Bad because it's a great show. I really liked it, but once it was over, I really didn't feel compelled, like, you know, to talk about it, to mention it ever again, except like in this situation. You know, it doesn't cross my mind. It came, it went, and for me it disappeared like Game of Thrones. And it was never mentioned again. You only see like memorabilia of it in like Serbian bookstores. Like, you know, those kitschy Game of Thrones mugs and something and similar. There was this scene in the last season, not scene, but episode, where they go through this extremely convoluted plan to do something, and that is planned and done in like 10 minutes. And like for something like that, they would dedicate an entire season prior. Like, and I was like, okay, fine. And I was really wondering, like, the main character, is he not a good guy initially, or does power and money corrupt? And a friend of mine had such a good comment on it. He said, he was always a garbage person. Now he only got the opportunity to actually, you know, showcase it.
Yeah, like somebody who's been suppressing their real self for a lot of, probably majority of their lives, and then just bam.
Yeah, but then you realize that their real self isn't a good self.
Yeah, I would personally, if you ask me how I would characterize the show, I'd say it's unremarkable. It's a good show, but it's unremarkable. Yeah. It leaves something, but you don't keep living it, I think, as you would with some other big ones.
Yeah, like the characters are they leave an impression, but the whole thing is just for...
Yeah, you know, yeah, exactly. There's something about it. Some sort of foul taste. But Better Call Saul, it takes...
Better watch Saul.
It takes all the, like, good. Yeah, that's a good meme, by the way. It takes side characters, all the good ones, and expands upon it, and it's
excellent.
The setting is before Breaking Bad, and it's awesome. it's awesome. Like Saul Goodman is the lawyer from Breaking Bad, and he's the main character, and it's ridiculous. You can see his transformation. The psychology of this character is so complex. The lives he touches are so. I mean, it's one of those shows where you get the opportunity to laugh and cry and feel. It has a soul. That's how I would characterize Better Call Saul. It has a soul.
Yeah,
I did that.
You were trying to refrain from that.
Yeah, so I'd actually gladly recommend Better Call Saul, even to people who never watched Breaking Bad. But if you watched Breaking Bad, you absolutely have to do this for yourself.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. So, you want to go next, or should I talk about some epic fiction?
You wait for your turn.
Yeah, okay.
I watched two very good Christian movies called Hereditary and Midsommar.
That's something Norwegian or Swedish?
Yes, the Midsommar. Hi, Alfred. Midsommar was totally like my Swedish trip. Okay. These two are not Christian movies whatsoever. They're both horror movies, and man,
you really do love horror movies, man.
I do. And ironically, I used to be absolutely terrified of horror movies, but I grew to like them, and I sort of built up the tolerance. There's this movie called Untitled Chapter that's supposed to be extremely terrifying, and I'm still building my courage to watch it. But regarding these two movies, they're made by the same producer, director. Movie director. Sorry,
both Midsommar and Hereditary. Right?
Hereditary, yeah, and they have some common themes throughout. For Hereditary, I told you about it. It is a Christian parent's nightmare. I mean, it's every parent's nightmare, but if you're a Christian parent, it gets an extra layer of nightmare. Again, I don't want to spoil it if you want to watch it, but
I don't watch horror.
Yeah, I know. And I suggest you don't.
I watch Mary things.
And you should. But man, that movie messed me up. Especially because there is this prayer in the movie addressed to someone who should not be addressed in prayer at all, where the Trinity is explicitly denied, and okay. At least one good point about this movie is that it is portraying evil as evil is. They're not sugarcoating evil or something, except to draw you in, and then it simply annihilates you. And as far as Midsommar...
Oh, you know evil so well.
Well, I'm an expert on evil. I have a diploma in evilology. And Midsommar, again, it's a messed up movie. It's not so much horror, but still the visuals are... some things man is not meant to see, and however, outside of those parts, those horror, creepy, disgusting parts, it is one of the most beautiful movies I have ever seen, and I wish somebody would make a happy ending Midsommar, because it is insanely beautiful, as I said, as I was watching the movie, I said, man, nearly every still of this movie could be used as a beautiful, poster or painting or something. It's simply your turn.
It's simply your turn.
We should have those, chess clocks.
I'm not gonna watch neither of these movies.
No,
neither one of these.
You shouldn't.
But as for anybody else, if you guys love horror, well, this sounds good. I've seen an article about it. Sounds promising.
Yeah.
So there's this show that I watched like years ago. I watched the first season and enjoyed it thoroughly, and then it got cancelled, which is like extremely annoying because I really, really, really enjoyed it. And somehow, after like a year of like this being cancelled, they renewed the thing, and I just binge watched the 4th season. So, it's called The Last Kingdom. The Last Kingdom is like I think that the genre is historical drama. I might be wrong, but I think that's the thing. It has the same, more or less, it covers the same age as the popular show Vikings does.
Mm-hmm.
And the show is, in a way, about Vikings. It's about Danes invading Saxon kingdoms in whatever.
But they can't name it Vikings.
No, the thing is, while Vikings focuses pretty much on... It's different, you know. And I've
While
watched...
Vikings focuses on Vikings. By the way, I never watched Vikings. I mean, I recognize the character, but I never watched a single episode.
Honestly, I'm not even sure if Vikings is a correct term. Like, in this show, they refer to these guys as Danes. And I think throughout the books,
Great Danes.
The books on that period of time, written by, I don't know, Saxon historians or whatever, that's how they call them, Danes. When they're not calling them Heathen. You know.
Okay.
But the thing is, this one actually follows a Saxon child that has been kidnapped from his home, that's called Bebenberg, and his name is Uhtred, obviously.
Okay.
And the Danes conquered Bebenberg. Well, actually, they raided it. I think they left.
Okay.
They killed a lot of people, and they snatched the guy. And the Dane leader raised him with his children as his own. So he comes back to raid Saxon kingdoms with Danes. And that's where the story unfolds. Eventually, he gets to meet the king and work with him. Multiple kings.
Nice.
Multiple things.
Nice.
Has some strong characters. And the battles are not like in Vikings. The battles are, I think, simpler and more... They have
to the point.
Yeah, they are more to the point. And this guy is a real, tough guy. And the only thing that bothers me in the show is how they present Christianity in general. You know, all royalty is very pious, you know, but their version of pious is very questionable. As well as all the lordship and all that. They're all pious. They're all like Christians and God this, God that. But the things they do, you know, and how they present, if you were learning about Christianity from the show, you would come out with an impression that all monks were, you know, people who would rather sleep and visit a whorehouse than do any missionary work, because they all drink, they all fight with axes or swords. I'm gonna have to read a bit more about that period. Because I just wanna like cross reference, because again the way they're showing it is you know, the church is just ridiculous. So, but everything else, if you deduct that, everything else is like the characters are so interesting, and the development is because, you know, these historical dramas, they tie to the real events, you know, and follow real history threads, but you know, they give it a flavor and side quests and side characters, and explain the big events that happened. They explain it in a dramatized way, and it's I love these. I wholeheartedly recommend if you like these kind of things. If you like, for example, the Middle Ages, epic fiction, for example, and history in general. This I think it's awesome.
Speaking of monks who have failed to keep their their zeal, I watched a documentary called Marjo. To be quite honest, I didn't like it. Marjo.
Margot?
Margoa. Marjoe. So, what's the deal? You have this Pentecostal preacher, and he's been a preacher since he was literally 4 years old. So you have like a 4-year-old child, like, I want you to dedicate your life to Jesus. I want you to cast the Satan out. I want to save this country by telling everyone about Jesus. And you can tell about Jesus. And like, he's simply amazing. Wunderkind,
1972? It was recorded in 1972?
Yeah. However, the issue is, Marjo does not really believe in all that. I'm not sure... I don't think he's an outright atheist. Like, during the documentary, he says, I believe in karma. I believe you will get what you deserve, But he clearly does not believe in absolute majority of what he preaches. However, that aside, how did the documentary got made? He made his last big tour, and he invited a crew to record it, to see how are these preachers sort of swindling people, For example, you have him, I want everyone here in the audience to say with me, yes, he can. And the whole crowd goes, yes, he can. And they want you to answer every of my questions with, yes, he can. Yes, he can. And I'm like, oh, please say Satan is stronger than Jesus, just to see how naive people can be. You don't agree to something before you know what it is, And then he goes like, I believe that God can save a person. Yes, he can. I believe that God can heal a person. Yes, I believe God can redeem a junkie. Yes, he can. I believe that God can redeem a homosexual. Yes, and so on. And while everybody's like losing it in the fervor, he's like, I want everybody here tonight to prove their faith in Lord Jesus. And I want you to open up your wallets and to take the biggest bill that you have and to put it in the basket. If it's a $20 bill, it's a $20 bill. If it's a $10 bill, it's a $10 bill. It's a $5 bill, it's a $5 bill. It's $1. I mean, clearly there are higher dollar bills. But he's smart, so he does not go start with a 500 or whatever. But again, these are 70s. $20 was more than $20 today. However, while that was fascinating, and I mean, I believe that there are some problems with televangelists, and I suppose if you really wanted to, you could technically make a similar movie about, I don't know, Orthodox religious figures, Not in that way. Not in that way. No, not in that way.
Look, I'll just say one thing: the Orthodox are not pushy, like, and that's
no.
Quite the contrary.
Not that. But you still you can have cheats everywhere, and even in Orthodox Church,
Oh.
However, yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But they're not. Even at the worst, they're not that explosive and they're not that hypnotizing, And the movie was really interesting. I think there was a bit too much footage from these events, and the most important for me, the more interesting parts was when the preacher was actually speaking. After the documentary was made, he simply became an actor and he never preached again. But he used those skills that he had as a preacher, which were still terrific. He keeps your attention all the way. So he used them in acting. I think he made even a western where he played a gunslinging preacher.
Yeah. I've seen some ridiculous things. on YouTube in the past couple of years, including child preachers, including super rich preachers driving supercars and having very strange eyes. I don't know. It's I mean, first of all, as like a Serbian Orthodox Christian, it's all very alien to me, anyways.
Yeah.
But a very obviously rich preacher, or like a child preaching the Bible, and just being very loud. It's I think it should be alien to other people as well, but it's an opinion. It's perfectly fine.
In Daidahi, one of those very early Christian documents, which is a beautiful book. I like to read it from time to time. It says, if a prophet asks for money, he's a false prophet. And prophet in this context would be something that we know are like to be priests, but it seemed that they were like wandering, like they weren't tied, like priests are today, like to parishes and dioceses, so they could wander around. But if they asked for money, then it was a sign that it's a false prophet. I mean, of course, you will have like donation drives and everything, but when you start telling people things like, give me your highest bill, or he even says, or one of his colleagues, he says, like, if you have a radio show or a TV show and says, the Holy Spirit told me that there's this old, ailing, lonely granny who keeps a money jar, and the Lord says to me, take the 20 and send it to the evangelist. And just like that, there will be at least like 5 of them, and with like 15 seconds, you earned yourself $100.
Like, I don't know. So the guy that I mentioned with the eyes, I've seen some videos of him.
Copeland.
Whatever. I've seen some videos of him being like telling people they cannot stop their donations during Corona, and he also puffed at Corona.
By the way, puffing. Do you know we do it?
We do it during the ceremony of chrismation.
Yeah, baptism.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's still an exorcism,
Yeah, but we absolutely do it symbolically. I think this guy was kind of imagining himself. Like, the thing is, the video is, maybe we'll find it and link it or something. But the video is, I think, it's so ridiculous that even he's laughing at what he's doing, and when he laughs, you're like, is this guy just laughing at whomever he's like engaging right now, or is he just plain crazy?
Or possessed?
No, something with this guy. Like, it's I don't know.
As I like to say, don't judge a book by its cover, but some books really need to be judged by the cover. Like, if it's wrapped in human skin.
Oh man,
that's red alert.
You know how we say that like eyes are the mirror of the soul,
or lack thereof.
Precisely. Like, I don't want to bash the guy, but he's obviously a rich person.
I do.
I don't know, man. It's a ridiculous creature to me.
He feels like if he were in a movie, like, okay, this is the way the producer has decided to give a cue to us that this isn't really a human being.
Exactly, like in a nature, with something's bright red.
Yeah.
Think twice.
By the way, do you know that channel, Lutheran Satire?
No, I don't really watch that much religious. I don't subscribe to
It's great. It's great. And they have a
How do you call it?
Lutheran Satire. Open a tab, and one of my favorite videos is Pope Frank has an ecumenical dialogue with Patriarch Bartholomew. I die laughing.
Look, the first video is about that guy whom we just met.
Well, that is and watch that one too. Absolutely watch that one.
Oh, this is some comedy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Lutheran satire. What did you think it is?
Look, man, satire can be used to make serious point. Okay, we're good.
Your turn.
Yeah. My turn. Let me just remove a stain from my monitor. What did I do? Did I sneeze on it? Again, I don't watch the things that you do. It's ridiculous, the things you watch. Another show that I recently binge watched, that I also binge watched in the past. This has been like the 9th season of Doc Martin. Know what that is?
It rings a bell.
For some reason, us Serbs like British humor. I can't explain why, because we generally don't like the British. But
nobody likes the British.
British humor, I don't know. But we generally don't like them.
Okay, I know. Yeah, I know him.
So we here, when we were kids, we watched quite a number of humorous British shows, including, for example, the biggest one was Only Fools and Horses, but also a huge one, and I think it has been watched for like at least 20 generations watched it. It's Allo Allo.
Allo Allo? It's called Allo Allo.
Like,
Allo Allo.
Dear Lord.
That show is basically 5 jokes repeated for 20 seasons, if you think about it.
But executed perfectly.
yeah. For some reason, they're funny, you know?
It's, again, for some reason, we're very susceptible to British humor. And this show...
It's good humor.
This show, it takes... the main actor is Martin Clunes. I think that's the last name. And he appears in a lot of British, especially comedy pieces. And it's... by the way, I didn't mention anything Monty Python.
Classic.
Or, for example, Fawlty Towers. You watched that?
Actually, I watched only 2 episodes, and I started watching it because I never heard of it. I never heard of it, and I was surprised because it got like an award for like best British sitcom. And I'm like, okay, I watched Only Fools and Horses, and how can something be better than that? You know, and I simply had to check it out. And do you know how it was made?
What about it?
John Cleese was in some hotel, and the hotel manager was extremely rude, and he remarked like, it felt like he didn't want the guests of the hotel to be there, like that the guests were the sole impediment for the perfect running of a hotel. And he made the show based on that premise.
It's a very fun show. But the guy is a bit of a anti-Christian. But besides the point. So Doc Martin is the setting is in a small fishing town called Portwin, and the main character, he's like a well-renowned surgeon. One of the best, if not the best in the country, well known across, everybody knows him. And he suddenly develops hemophilia, meaning
if he cuts himself, it does not heal.
No. He is sickened by the sight of blood.
That's not hemophilia. That's hemophobia.
Hemophobia. Yeah, my apologies. Philia would be the opposite. Hemophobia. Yeah.
Hemophobia. Yeah. Okay, I guessed it.
Yeah. But imagine a surgeon developing a hemophobia. A surgeon who cuts people and sees blood. So he decides basically to just move to where his aunt lives or something like that, in that small fishing and decides to become a GP, like a general practitioner, a doctor, for that small village, which means he's a go-to doctor that is going to be doing everything. But this guy, he's a stuck-up, two-words guy with a temper, so he immediately makes a mess of the entire thing, and characters are super funny, jokes are great. It's actually very simple. It's one of the simplest shows I've ever watched that just keeps me just in a merry mood. There's gonna be season 10, I think, and I hope. So wholeheartedly recommending this.
Speaking of which, watch Father Ted.
Father Ted?
Yeah, it's a famous show about this British priest, or Irish.
Again, B. Can you please recommend some fiction or something? You're making me.
Okay, so anyway, he gets banished to this small island where they basically send off priests who have who really did not dedicate themselves to their ministry, and it's hilarious. I watched only a couple of episodes. I didn't still manage to watch them all, but they're so the situation like there are 3 priests in that village, and you don't know which one of them 3 is more problematic, but the main character, Father Ted, tends to play the straight man. But the villagers' antics and the silly situations they get themselves into, especially when the bishop visits. I think it's even funnier for actual members of the clergy to watch it, because oh man, it's really great.
Okay, anything non-Christian?
Hereditary, House of the Devil, Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I'm gonna start talking about the cartoons that my kid watches, which I also inevitably end up watching.
Okay, do share.
Currently, the top one are some local cartoon, which won't mean much, but the Paw Patrol is very, very popular in this house.
Like Paw, like
Paw.
Dog Paw.
Yeah, this is a pack of dogs led by a guy who has hair very similar to mine.
Okay.
And he's a kid, I think.
Okay.
We bought the dolls.
So the leader is hand control, but the other is paw.
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay.
It's these guys.
Okay, they're cute.
Yeah, they're super cute. They're super cute, and they all have different personalities and different things they say. So my kid will be like,
they learn
green means go, something like that. Well, lessons more or less. Yeah, I don't think they make cartoons like that anymore. With a lesson.
Well, yeah, the movies I watch also have a lesson. Like that spirit you summoned, it's not your kid.
How did I ever play D&D with this guy?
Yeah.
By the way, we talked about D&D I think yesterday or the day before when we played that game. And I was like, for a very brief moment, I was like transported back, and I was like, why am I not playing D&D anymore?
You would remember if you played it. That is for a different episode. Maybe we could. Yeah, next episode is the D&D episode.
Maybe people don't like our recommendations. Maybe they like yours, Christian channel. This is not a Christian.
Who cares?
Channel. Of course.
We make no. We make things that we like, and if people like it, fine. If they don't like it, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We will make some Christian content too. Eventually. By the way, speaking of kids cartoons, I'm watching Tangled, the series.
That exists, okay.
Yeah, and I think it's far better than the cartoon, the feature from the Disney, because.
But it's decent. The original one, it's decent.
It's decent, but I don't like 3D animation. I'll be honest. It's fine, but I think it loses a lot of charm. And what I like about Tangled the series, that it's stunningly beautiful. Episodes are hit or miss. The ones that deal with the primary story are simply great. The ones that don't generally aren't that good, but it is so beautiful, and I'm simply, watching it to rest my brain after the horror movies.
You watch kid cartoons, okay?
It's not a kid cartoon. There's a demon. Like when you grow up and you think about like cartoons such as Brave Little Toaster, and you're like, this isn't a kid's cartoon.
we should send a hint to that guy, whatever his name is, who finds like conspiracy theory worthy stuff in Hollywood movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy. I think you might have a little bit of a beef with him. We should send him cartoons and ask him to, tell us what's wrong with them. I think that would be awesome. Like do Frozen. He's like,
no, watch here. No. Like, did you notice any demonic imagery in Hereditary?
I think that would be fun. Very fun.
By the way, do you know that meme, Illuminati confirmed?
Yes.
There's some boring image, and then there's like dots connecting a triangle, for example, like on the eyebrow, and like Illuminati confirmed or something silly like that. But my favorite was like this Masonic sorcerer or something, like with his arms lifted, and he's wearing those ceremonial robes, and there's this huge eye in the triangle on the pulpit in front of him. As he's lifting his hands, his hand makes a shadow with some other shadow, and like there's a triangle. Illuminati confirmed.
Really? I mean, really?
That was the best meta meme I have ever seen. Maybe I can even find it, and then you can add it in editing, because you have nothing better to do.
Yeah. While you're doing that, actually, I watched Marvel, the first Marvel thing that I wanted to watch.
Which one?
Which I decided to watch, and I'm not talking about that time when I had to watch Spider-Man because I was in a plane that traveled for 12 hours. So I didn't know what to do because I can't sleep in an airplane. Because what if it starts crashing?
I found it.
Awesome, send it. So a friend of mine was pushing me to watch Daredevil.
Okay.
And it was decent. So that's I actually can't watch Marvel. To me, Marvel Universe movies, it's I just can't. It's terrible. Like for me, if you love Marvel, awesome. Yeah, the logo is great. But I kind of hate it. And I actually liked more or less the Daredevil. It was drinkable to me. That I had to translate the Serbian word.
Potable.
Sorry?
Potable.
Like
potable. You don't say something like is drinkable? No. Okay, by the way, speaking of like superheroes and cartoons and kids cartoons, do you know what you should watch and you would love it a lot?
Please.
Batman animated series, if you haven't watched it.
Is it humorous?
It's pretty much serious. There are funny moments.
I'm not a fan of Batman.
No,
I'm not.
No. If there is one thing that would get me into Batman, it would be this. And one of the reasons I didn't like these movies was because it wasn't it. Watch it; it's great. For example, if you want to watch a great introduction to the feel of the series, watch the episode Heart of Ice. It's
okay.
Chilling.
By the way, the thing I mind about Marvel in general is let's find everything ever and turn it into a superhero. There's a bazillion types of superheroes, and then suddenly it's all connected, and the worlds collide, and dimensions and parallel. Like it's like obviously they're gonna be making money out of these movies and shows for like God only knows how many years. But look, there is I think the best humor show in the world. It's called Whose Line Is It Anyway? You know what it is?
I thought I told you about it.
No, dude.
When they guess the profession of the...
Well, yeah, that's just like one of bazillion things they do.
Okay.
Whose Line Is It Anyway? Is like it's perfect humor in my opinion. It's basically improv comedy.
Okay. No. I thought it was What's My Line? Okay. I mixed them up. Okay.
I don't know what that is. But
okay, you'll never find out.
Yeah, the thing is, dude, one thing I have to warn everybody if you're started Googling it. If you venture into watching like one of their videos, you're gonna enter an endless loop. Because this comes from everybody ever I've recommended this show, including people who recommended it to me. We all went through it. You start watching, you find one from the 80s, for example, the originals, and you're done. Like, you're going to binge watch the thing, and there's new ones. You're going to be binge watching them for months to come. You're not going to be sleeping because of it. Because it's ridiculously funny. It's ridiculously funny. These guys make fun of everything. And one of the things they make fun of very often is, because it's improv. And they have all kinds of different games and scenes they play out and stuff like that. And they had a lot of great guests, like Robin Williams, for example, was a guest in the show, in the originals. And many comedy people. Like in these new episodes, you would get new comedians like the Michael Kig, whatever, the bald guy. Who had,
Burr.
Sorry?
Burr.
I'm pretty sure that's a reference from something, but
no, that comedian Burr.
Bill Murr.
Burr.
That's Bill Murr.
No, Bill. No, that's Bill Murray.
That's Bill Murr.
No, it's not. There's no such thing as Bill Murr.
Bill Moore.
Bill
Murr. Burr.
Okay, we have to cut this part from the show because it's Bill Burr. Okay, I guessed it. I know that he's a comedian. Okay, he is.
Anyways, they
Bill Murr.
In many of their improv scenes, they would like make up like a superhero, and I constantly draw a parallel with the Marvel universe because it's literally that ridiculous to me. Like somebody like doing an improv scene and being like, I'm gonna be a superhero. The guy whose hair is constantly falling out. That's like...
I don't want that guy in my house.
By the way, really, I warned you about Whose Line Is It? I warned you. I warned you.
Okay. By the way, speaking of Marvel and everything, I was watching, for example, X-Men: The Apocalypse, and it's like, oh, I'm a mutant. Oh, how will everybody
X-Men
deal with? Yeah,
you're just describing every X-Men movie.
Yeah. How will everybody deal with me now? Oh no, some people hate me. Oh no, these people were true friends. And
yeah, mutants and humans are best friends. Mutants and humans are the biggest enemies.
Yeah, but this isn't really about mutants. It's about gay people, or black people, or women, or migrants, or a minority of the day. And like,
yeah. I also hate the fact that movies today suffer from narratives. But that's something you absolutely.
I think I have reached a point where, as soon as a human being appears on the screen, I'm like, is this politics? Also, one more thing. Oh yeah, I was watching. Maybe I mentioned this one of the previous episodes. I can't remember, but they were showing like Avengers Endgame on TV or something or other, and there was that big, huge, epic battle that was clearly being hyped up in all the previous movies that I haven't watched, and like everybody and their aunt and the kitchen sink appears in that episode, and my cousin who watched the previous movies and that movie, but now he's like, you know, spellbound, like, this is so epic, and I'm like the Squidward, like,
yeah.
When will Ursula and Harry Potter and the Joker appear? Like, this is literally the Imagination Land episode from the South Park. Like, let's put every fictional character here, and like,
I gotta say, first of all, are you still recording?
Yes, I am, and I did pay attention to it.
Okay, bravo. We mentioned cartoons. I've been watching these new cartoons, you know, the what kids watch nowadays, and it can't compare to the ones that we grew up with.
Okay, I have a comment. I have a bit of a comment there. First of all, imagine if you saw Cow and Chicken today. How would you would react? That's one. Like, you know, were these that good or were we little? That's one. Second, I believe that there are good cartoons. I think that, for example, Adventure Time was very good. I think that Steven Universe is very... I'm just kidding. I just can't stand it. When I see it, I get that angry when I see Steven Universe. I'm sorry if there are fans out there, but... that is literally like whenever I see it, I'm like, is this politics? Have you heard about Steven Universe?
Yeah.
Okay, let's never speak of it again. But I don't know, Adventure Time I think was really good. It was really witty, funny, interesting.
There are good ones like Zootopia, but it's still not comparable with Beauty and the Beast, Peter Pan, 101 Dalmatian, the two dogs. What's the name? What's the name in English?
Two Stupid Dogs. Lady and Tramp.
Lady and Tramp, exactly. And the
Trampy and Lads.
Sleeping Beauty. I mean, come on, man. These cartoons still have a soul. Like I watch them while the kid is watching a bit, and I still feel that vibe. So no.
Okay, I have to mention it again. That introductory music in the Sleeping Beauty. No, not the Beauty and the Beast.
If that doesn't bring you back and destroy you, like you're not a kid.
Yeah, no, you don't have a soul.
Yeah.
You're just posing as a living human.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they should make like some vampire hunter movie where they like put a suspected vampire and like play the
no music box. The music tell me what you feel when you play this music box.
Nothing, and they like stab him in the heart immediately.
Like, oh, this one didn't disintegrate. Never mind, he was still a soulless bastard.
Yeah, he did. Sometimes it's not about being the living dead. Sometimes it's not really being worthy of living.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tale is all this time. So, I think we've said enough. Honestly,
we could make a sequel after we watch even more horrendous movies for your kids.
I don't know. It depends. Maybe if people don't like it, we won't. We will never speak of the things we've watched again.
But we will.
But well, yeah. Anyways, I appreciate you hosting me at your temporary church place.
Feel free to come whenever.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna say this.
Okay.
something that left the biggest impression on me is the priest serving in sneakers.
They weren't sneakers. They're I don't know how they call them in English, but in Serbian they're sneaker shoes.
Like, to me, it's like it's an equivalent of wearing like all-star, shoes.
No, Crocs.
like what's next? Flip-flops? By
the way, in literally every Serbian church, you have like this sign: "Don't go dressed like this." And there's a guy wearing a sleeveless shirt, a girl with a sleeveless shirt, a girl in a short skirt, a guy in trunks, and so on. And somebody told me like they were at a beach and they saw a small church and they wanted to get in, and they were dressed relatively okay, but they were wearing flip-flops. And they want to enter the church, and the candle lady's like, "You can't enter dressed like that." "Why not?" "You're wearing flip-flops." And the guy is like watching the flip-flops, and he's like pointing to all the frescoes.
Exactly.
But everybody is.
They're wearing flip-flops.
Especially in Serbian, because in Serbian flip-flops are called apostolke, which literally means apostles' shoes.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Like imagine they wouldn't let Jesus in. Like, literally.
Yeah, because he's a long-haired hippie.
Yeah, wearing flip-flops.
No, even better. You can't enter wearing a dress.
But anyways, the reason why I decided to go there, first of all, they still, at that point, they still haven't lifted the curfew, but they lifted the curfew finally for the weekend. So it wasn't like an all weekend curfew as it was a couple of weeks back. And I was like, okay, I know that like he went to the Easter liturgy, and he told me there was like 5 people, and I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be small. It's gonna be like 5 people there, which is great because it's still it's still prohibited to have like more than 2 people on the other side. And I was like, awesome, then I'll go there.
It was St. George's Day. It was St. George's Day.
What could go wrong? There was 50 people inside.
In a small chapel.
In a small chapel, there was 50 people inside. I mean, and the most ridiculous thing is when I came inside, there were 2 people inside, like two people and a couple of people, just singing the morning prayers, right? Mm-hmm. And the priest doing his thing. And so in total, there was like 5 people inside. B was late, obviously. But there were 5 people inside in total when I came in. I was like, okay, B's not there, but this is it. Little did I know. Because the thing started filling up and there was 50 people. Just like that.
You literally sound like a person who has never attended an Orthodox church.
No, actually, at my church, the one that I call mine, it's not like that. People come in time, more or less.
Boring.
Yeah. You don't like when things are normal.
Yeah, they're boring.
Yeah. So
like M in Jesus' time, like to Jesus. You don't like when things are normal.
Yeah.
I'm clearly the Jesus of the story. Okay.
Stamp heretic. No, it was an experience. It was an experience. The only thing that I regret was we couldn't
coming.
Yeah, not going to my church.
Yeah.
No, it kind of sucked that we couldn't like grab a cup of coffee afterwards. Like it's a thing. The thing about Serbia, and especially Belgrade.
Yeah.
We have a culture of drinking coffee in a coffee shop. And a testament to that is the fact that you can't go 5 feet without a coffee shop. so there's, I think, like, we would probably be one of the first countries in the world, at least cities in the world, where in terms of number of coffee shops per person.
Per steps.
It's really ridiculous. Like it's really ridiculous. If you stand in one place in Belgrade, we're not talking about like very, very much where people live. We're not talking about living space. But even there, you can't. If you stand in one spot and you do like a 360, the chances are going to count 10 or 15 coffee shops. And it's dirty cheap in comparison to other countries, so you can actually afford it. It's like that one luxury that people still enjoy, even though everything else is kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
But
I think that literally every subscriber I have met in person in Belgrade has ended up for coffee with me.
Yeah, because that's what we do. We don't come to people's houses. We go to coffee shops and we talk there. We have somebody else serve us coffee. We choose.
Yeah.
Like B would choose a chocolate mocha coffee, something like that.
No, as a friend of mine would call, B stop having frappuccinos.
Yeah, something like that. While as a contrast, in the States. Starbucks, super expensive. Coffee bean and tea leaf still less expensive, but still it's a lot of money if you're paying like upwards of $5 for coffee. If you're drinking cappuccino here in Serbia in like a very popular place, it's gonna be like $2 maybe.
Yeah, tops
like a cappuccino. $2 for like we drink everything like for $10. For 4 of us we're just gonna drink coffee, easily.
Yeah, if somebody charged me more than $250, they would never see me again.
Well, I don't think maybe in the airport because they're opportunists.
Okay,
Terrible.
When we were visiting a friend in France, and we didn't get the coffee on plane, which was the first I ever saw, and I was very annoyed by it. And we landed, and the first thing I went to the coffee shop. I prayed for the overpriced coffee, and like I took the coffee, and I was like, and a friend of mine saw like my countenance fell, and she was like, "What's wrong?" It's like somebody made a patty out of ash and then put it in the espresso machine. Like there's that scene in The Simpsons where they're like saving money, and Marge is opening a can of it says carrot cat food, but as it turns on the machine, it says 30% carrot, 70% ash, and then she puts it over the bowl, and you feel it slide out of the can, and like that is how that coffee felt like. Like no.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the problem the funny thing about coffee shops in Serbia, most of them serve very bad coffee. Like very bad. If we're talking about cappuccino, it has a burnt taste usually.
Yeah,
it's because everybody's using these commercial, coffee machines and very, very bad coffee, like industrial crappy coffee. While if you know what you're doing, you're going to special coffee places where you can get really, really decent coffee. Like I even buy my coffee from one of these, and I grind it myself. It's good coffee. And it will never taste burnt. So if anybody visits Belgrade anytime soon, which is probably not going to happen because nobody's going to travel for the next God only knows how much, unless you take the early version of the corona vaccine, which you have to be crazy to do, but
somebody has to.
Yeah, you do know they're testing it on people in Africa, because they're easily doing that.
I hope that they wouldn't, but
last time
it's the way of the world.
Last episode, I mentioned that supposedly Trump said something about drinking,
bleach, I think.
Bleach or something like that. And somebody called me on it. Don't believe everything you hear. Just so we're clear, it's not like we've ever believed it. But when we say something like I've heard that, it doesn't mean I've heard and subscribed to it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I don't know. The world is a horrible, evil place, and sadly,
it's not.
in this, is it not?
The world is a beautiful place filled with terrible, terrible people.
Do you know that joke? What's the difference between an optimist and a pessimist?
There's many such.
Yeah, okay. The optimist believes this is the best of all the possible worlds. And the pessimist is afraid that it is true. It's great. It's great.
B, thank you for sharing a bunch of Christian movies and
thank you.
0 TV shows. And I mean, it can tell that there's a difference between us in terms of the content that we subscribe to. But I mean, it's only normal. I seem to be looking for an escape, and you seem to be looking for fear.
Yeah, or maybe escape through fear, like
cathartic escape. Everything's so special about you.
Yeah, thank God that that king of hell isn't real. We just still have these politicians.
Yeah. Our since the curfew is lifted and the
genie free.
People in our parliament have already started fighting. So it hasn't been long.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Thank you, B. Let's continue this in another episode if people like it. If they don't like it, let's continue it
in a different episode.
Yeah. We still owe people the pizza episode.
I'm trying to hunt down that priest, but he's struggling. But he won't for long.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put some more pressure into it. Back to
blackmailing.
Yeah, back to work, and appreciate everybody who's watching us. If you care about the content, I think you should subscribe, and if you don't, I think you should make somebody else subscribe.
If you like it, subscribe, and if you don't, subscribe because you don't want to make rash decisions based on first impressions. You want to make an educated choice. So watch all of the episodes, subscribe, and then if you don't like it, fine. That's how you do it.
Before you go, I watched. There was this. She's a Twitch streamer.
Okay.
And she literally...
She's a Twitch streamer. Okay. Go on.
Like this girl, lady, I don't know, person. She started arguing with her viewers because they didn't want to pay a Patreon or some kind of a subscription service. And she argued like that, It's. I need to send it to you, man.
I think I know. I think
the original video was removed, so I need to.
It's never removed.
Yeah, exactly. Because what's when you publish it, but it was ridiculous to me how she actually like kind of attacked her audience for not having enough patrons. And I remember just recently, like I have this like Chrome extension, Google Chrome extension. It's an extension for the Chrome browser.
Yeah.
And it has like over 20,000 users. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start maintaining it a bit more frequently. But you know, it kind of sucks that I spend time and put out like a free thing that people use on a daily basis, and like I can't even pay for hosting out of it, you know, or like a license for like the coding environment. And I'm like, okay, I'll open a Patreon, and I open a Patreon, and I was calculating there's 20,000 people, so at least 100 people will become my Patreon. So that's my calculation went to sleep. Because I got five.
You are to blame.
No, who cares? I'm not selling.
You are to blame. You need to brand yourself. Why did I get patrons withdrawing Bible images? Because there's no face. As soon as they open a YouTube channel, patrons.
Yeah, but there was a different point to that patron. It was more like a test to see if it makes sense. And right now, it doesn't. And when people tell me brand yourself, I'm like, isn't the content more important than the person? But then again, I figure, I don't know. I don't want to go
Isn't
into it.
the content more... Okay. No, sorry. Isn't the content more important than the person? Okay. Can you rephrase that?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's not really important who Jesus was. It's what he thought.
Will you shut up?
No.
Really?
Never.
So as a first step of me branding myself, I will get into an argument with these guys who didn't become a patron.
No. Okay, I'll brand myself. And the next episode, you have a literal 666 on your forehead. The branding went fine, but they lost patrons.
You know what kind of strikes me, and these are the things that people don't know. There are services out there that will offer you like if I had like 25,000+ users, which I'm gonna have very shortly. Of that thing, I could earn like $2,500 per month just by selling the data that my extension can collect. Like, would you imagine that? Which I'm not gonna do, just so that we're clear. I don't think that's okay. But just in comparison, like, you want to do something good, like I want to try to find the time to make that thing better, to make it work better for people, to bring more value, and keep it free. You know, no ads, no annoying Microsoft Word 97. The most annoying thing ever. And what I'm talking about. Okay. You're not listening to me.
No. The most money thing ever, yes. I know you were speaking about selling the data and that you're...
No, I was mentioning the most annoying thing in the world, and you were just saying, yeah, right. And you don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mentioned Microsoft Word 97.
I literally heard you say...
I caught you, man. Come on. You weren't listening. You were engaged with something. It's fine. It happens. You're a bastard. But...
It's 40 minutes after midnight. I'm barely keeping my eyes open.
Random excuse.
We said our goodbyes.
You're a hard person. You're a hard person. I'm just... I'm going to leave it there.
You're a horrible person.
Lights out.